Hello, fifth grade. I hope you guys had a good week last week, and I hope you guys enjoyed last week's video. To this week's video, we are going to be talking about summaries. So we're going to learn a quick way that you can write a summary, and it's going to have an acronym that you can remember and you can write on your paper, and it's going to make a table, and you're going to do great at making summaries, and it's going to be awesome, and you're going to do a good job. Okay, so here we go. So first of all, we have to explain what a summary is. A summary is a shortened version of the story. It retells the important parts of the story. Now, what does a summary include? And a summary is told in a sequence, so it's told in order. It can include the main idea, supporting details, and the theme, depending on whether it's a fiction or a nonfiction story. And it can be written in 3 to 5 sentences. You can also do 4 to 6 sentences. It kind of just depends on your teacher and what your teacher wants. So it's anywhere from 3 to 5 sentences or 4 to 6 sentences. And also kind of depends on the length of the story as well. So, like I said, we're going to learn to write summaries, and I'm going to show you how we're going to do that today. So I'm going to screen share, and we're going to go to our whiteboard. All right, so already explained what a summary is. A summary is a shortened, so a smaller version of the story, and it retells all the important parts. So that is what our summary is, and we are going to use the acronym BME. B stands for beginning, so the beginning of the story. M stands for middle. M is the middle of the story, and E is the end of the story. So we have beginning, middle, end. 3 parts. 3 parts. So what we can do is I'm going to make our own little chart or our own little organizer for our summary. And then at the end, I will write it out. So I'm going to just draw a little bit here and make a tiny little chart. Might not be straight, but that's okay. I'm still learning how to use all this technology. All right, so here's our chart. So once we read this short story that I'm going to read to you in a second, we're going to come back and we're going to look at our chart and we're going to fill it in, and then we're going to make a summary. All right, so we're going to stop this screen share for a second. Hello. And we are going to start a new screen share. And that is going to include our story. All righty, so our story is called My Friend Rebecca. And for all the parents watching, ReadWorks, I've talked about it before. Great, great, great website. It's free, has unlimited stories for comprehension, vocabulary, everything you can think of. And it's free again. So, My Friend Rebecca. I met Rebecca in school when I was in 7th grade. We had so many things in common. We also had a good number of differences. The biggest difference was that I was raised a Christian and Rebecca was brought up in the Jewish faith. Despite such differences in our beliefs, Rebecca and I were still good friends. When she turned 13, I went to a synagogue for her bat mitzvah. A bat mitzvah is a service many young Jewish girls perform when they are about to become a woman. Boys have the same service, except that is called a bar mitzvah. After the service, there was a huge party with lots of delicious Jewish foods, like latkes, which are potato pancakes, and challah, which is braided bread. At one point, everyone held hands in a circle, and we danced to the hora, a traditional Jewish dance. It was so much fun. During the winter holidays, Rebecca and I did something I will never forget. She came to my house for Christmas, where we watched the Christmas tree lights, and I went to her house on the first night of Hanukkah. We played dreidel and ate more tasty Jewish foods. The most memorable part of the evening, though, was lighting the first candle on the menorah. The candles represent the light that wouldn't burn out thousands of years ago. It was a beautiful evening that I will never forget. All right, so there's our story, and now let's write a summary about it. So this was a very short story that we were reading, and we can always go back to it to refer. So we're going to go back to our whiteboard. So the first thing that I noticed was that BME is 3 letters long. And how many paragraphs did we have in our story? We had 1, 2, 3. So let's just put a summary a B, an M, and an E. Very simple. All right, so here we go. Let's reread our first paragraph because we're going to be talking about the beginning of the story. I met my friend Rebecca in school when I was in 7th grade. We had so many things in common. We also had a good number of differences. The biggest difference was that I was raised a Christian and Rebecca was brought up in the Jewish faith. All right, so an important key detail out of there was that our narrator met her friend when she was in 7th grade, and the biggest difference between the two of them was that she was raised a Christian and Rebecca was raised in the Jewish faith. So let's go back to our whiteboard and let's write that down. I'm going to get my text box and we're going to put that here. The narrator was, let's put the narrator met her friend Rebecca. Narrator met her friend Rebecca when they were in 7th grade. And what else did I tell you was that important part? The most important part was that the biggest difference between the two of them was that the narrator was Christian and Rebecca, not the friend, Rebecca, let's use the names, was Jewish. All right, so there we go. There is our beginning, or our B right there. The narrator met her friend Rebecca when they were in 7th grade. The biggest difference between the two of them was the narrator was Christian and Rebecca was Jewish. So let's go back to our story. And let's go for that middle because we got our B done. Now we need our M done. All right, let's reread it. Despite such differences in our beliefs, Rebecca and I were good friends. When she turned 13, I went to a synagogue for her bat mitzvah. A bat mitzvah is a service many young Jewish girls perform when they're about to become a woman. Boys have the same service, except that is called a bar mitzvah. After the service, there was a huge party with lots of delicious Jewish foods like latkes, which are potato pancakes, and challah, which is braided bread. At one point, everyone held hands in a circle and we danced to the hora, a traditional Jewish dance. It was so much fun. All right, so some key things that really pointed out there was that despite their differences, they were still good friends. You could put that as one of your details. You could also put when the narrator turned 13, they went to the synagogue for the bat mitzvah. And a bat mitzvah is a service many young Jewish girls have. So let's put that. Let's write something about the bat mitzvah in our story. So we're going to go back to our screen, make a little text box, and we're going to put when the girls were 13, they went to Rebecca's bat mitzvah. And I believe that's it. See, we can even go back and look at our spelling. I'm not even sure how to spell bat mitzvah. And let's go back. M-I-T-Z-V-A-H. M-I-T-Z-V-A-H. And what we're going to do, since this is kind of messed up, is we're going to do that. And we're going to make another one. When the girls were 13, they went to Rebecca's bat mitzvah. And one of the most memorable things that they talked about was eating Jewish foods. So, during the bat mitzvah, the girls, they danced and they ate delicious Jewish foods. All right, there we go. So far, so good. So in the middle, what had happened in the middle was when the girls were 13, they went to Rebecca's bat mitzvah, and during the bat mitzvah, they danced and they ate delicious Jewish foods. Now let's take a look at that last part. We're going to go to our last sentence, or our last paragraph. During the winter holidays, Rebecca and I did something I will never forget. She came to my house for Christmas, where we watched the Christmas tree lights, and I went to the house on the first night of Hanukkah. We played dreidel and ate more tasty Jewish foods. The most memorable part of the evening, though, was lighting the first candle on the menorah. The candle represents that the light wouldn't burn out thousands of years ago. It was a beautiful evening that I'll never forget. All right, so to me, this sounds like the narrator had Rebecca come over to her house and they got to watch the Christmas tree lights. And then the narrator went over to Rebecca's house and they to spend the first night of Hanukkah together. They played dreidel, ate more tasty Jewish foods, and it was a memorable evening. And then at the end, it was a beautiful evening that I'll never forget. So let's take a look at our last part, our E, which is our end. And we'll go back to our whiteboard and we will make our sentences with the end. So at the end, the narrator had Rebecca come over to see the Christmas lights. The narrator had Rebecca come over to see the Christmas lights. And then from there, what else happened? The narrator went over to Rebecca's house and spent the first night of Hanukkah. I'm not exactly sure how to spell Hanukkah. I go back and I'm gonna look. Let's see, it's Hankkaah. Our whiteboard. Hankkaah, because then just with the way this works. First night of Hanukkah. And what happened at the end? It was a night I will said that though. We gotta put who said that. The narrator felt that it was a night she would never forget. All right, so that's what we have. So quickly, let's retype our summary of the sentence. All right, here we go. The narrator met her friend Rebecca when they were in 7th grade. The biggest difference between the two of them was that the narrator was Christian and Rebecca was Jewish. When the girls were 13, they went to Rebecca's bat mitzvah. Don't worry, move it over so you can read it. During the bat mitzvah, the girls danced and ate delicious Jewish foods. The narrator had Rebecca come over to see the Christmas lights. The narrator then went over to Rebecca's, I'll move it again, house and spent the first night of Hanukkah. The narrator felt it was a night she would never forget. All right, now let's take a look at our paragraph. Look at that. Move this guy up because we don't need him anymore. And there we go. We have a fantastic summary of the story that we just read. And we created our graphic order by using the BME, the beginning, middle, and end. And we created that organizer and we did it all on our own. So I hope you guys liked this video. I hope it was super helpful. Next week will be our last and final video. Can you guys believe the school year's over? I sure can't. So next week will be our last video and we'll go from there. I'll see you guys all next week. Have a wonderful week.